Okay guys, I have not seen a tutorial on how to do this, so I was going to try and walk you through how I did it. It's for running EQOA and connecting to the Sandstorm server directly from an old PlayStation 2. So the first thing you're going to need is your ISO of the game. So you're either going to want to rip your own disk, or officially you're going to want to rip your own disk, but however you get it, you need your ISO. Um, there's three ways that you can run that on the system itself. So one is on a hard drive, two is on USB, and three is going to be from a disk. The disk one is not recommended because right now it has some errors where you have to like delete your network settings in your game file every time you connect. But I will walk you through that just in case that's your only way that you're going to be able to connect. So the first thing you do, if you have your file here, um, two things you're going to want to do. One, you're going to want to do the DNAS patch, and so that is right here. So this looks like a program that you open, but you don't. You actually just take your ISO, you drag and drop it over top of it. It'll open up, and it'll scan the file, and this one's already been patched, so it's likely not going to do anything. It'll just close. If it patches your ISO, it's going to like give you some like indicators that it did that. If we wait just a second, this will probably just close and say that it's already done. Yeah, see, it just closed because I've already got it patched. The second thing you want to do if you are running off a disk is you want to run the ESR disk patcher. And this allows the app ESR on FreeMcBoot on your PlayStation to read the disk. It's basically the only way you're going to get your PlayStation to read this disk. So you just go in, you hit the patch button there, you click, see it says it's already patched because it is, but you just add that and it would do it instantly. So that's done. With that, all you would need to do is have some kind of disk burning program. I use image burn. You see, we just go to write image file to disk, and you just come up here, select your file, and mine is right there. Open, and then I don't have a disk in there, so it's not allowing me to, but I would just click right here and it would burn the image. You want to make sure when you do it that you do it at a slow speed, because I had problems with burning a disk at a higher speed and not wanting to be read by the PlayStation 2. So I did that 4 times just to make sure, and that I didn't have any problems getting it to read. So once you've done that, basically you can just put that disk into a PS2 modified with FreeMcBoot and run ESR, and it'll automatically detect that disk and just go. Like I said, that's not the recommended way to do it, because right now you get generally an error when it tries to connect to the server after the first time, and you have to delete your settings and remake them and do it again. So the second way to connect is by USB. And basically all you need to do is when you get on your PlayStation, you don't need a patch disk or anything for this, but you do just need the ISO itself. You have a USB, and the first time you connect it to the USB to your PlayStation 2 and run OPL, it's going to create a bunch of these folders here right in the root of your USB. So what you'll have to do is take your ISO and you're going to drop it into this DVD folder here, and that's where OPL is going to look for it. What you'll also want to do is take this cheat, which is the DNAS cheat, and you put it in the cheat folder here. You just drop it in there. You can use the DNAS patch on the ISO and then not use the cheat. It works either way, but it's easier. It's one step less if you just have your ISO already, that you can just drop it into that DVD folder. Once you do that, basically you just take it, you put it in the front of your PS2, you'll run OPL and go to the USB section and run it, basically, and it should just go. You might have to use, I didn't run it this way. You might have to use winhiip, which I'm going to show you real quick to install it into that folder. So the other thing is if you want to run it off a hard drive, you can, if you can connect your PS2 hard drive to your computer. I did this with a USB to IDE converter. You want to run winhiip. Now, what I had to do in order to get winhiip to recognize the drive was I had to come in to the program properties itself and go to compatibility, and I had to select. In this case, I used Windows XP Service Pack 3, even though I'm running Windows 10. But this allowed the program to actually access the drive and recognize it. I don't know why it wouldn't, but it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't recognize it before I did that. So here you can see this is like my regular hard drive, and this is the USB drive that is recognizing there. So what you would select your hard drive, and then you would click Add Images, and then select your file, and basically then run it, and it would install it on the drive. So that's a real quick walkthrough without taking a lot of time to actually install it and stuff, because it takes a little while for it to do. Now I will basically I'll go to the PlayStation and show you how to kind of set up OPL and stuff so that you can get these things to run. Alright, see you in a second. Alright guys, sorry about my kind of ghetto setup here, but I'm going to show you how to kind of what things you need to do to set up to run the game from the hard drive. So one of the first things you'll do is you'll go into OPL, and when you run this the first time, it's going to come straight into the settings menu. So this is the newest version of it. I'd recommend using this version because it has the cheats integrated. Some of the older versions do not. Alright, so first things first, it's not going to load you into this menu right away. First it's going to load you into here. So what you will want to do, let's say you've got your games on your hard drive already. You're going to go into settings. First thing I would do is I set, these were off previously, so I set these to auto. You can just like press X to select it and up down to off, manual, auto. I just set them to auto so that it automatically starts them up. And then I have it set down here to default menu to hard drive game, because that's where I'm going to be playing them. Push down again, hit OK. Now what you'll want to do also is then make sure that if you go to your games list, push circle to go back to games list, and then do triangle, and now you have cheat settings. You want to make sure that's set to on and auto select cheats. And then make sure you save it. I didn't because mine's already set. So you can see I have, this is vanilla, Frontiers, that's a patched version of it, the DNAS patch, which you won't need cheats if you are running that patch, the patched ISO. But let me show you one more thing you need to do before I start going into run it. We'll have to cycle to PlayStation 2 and restart it. Alright, so what we're going to want to do is go to the launch elf, and this is basically going to take you to like a file browser where we are going to copy our cheat to the hard drive. So wherever you're going to run the game from is where you want your cheat to be. If you're running it from USB, you want it to be on USB. If you're running it from hard drive, you want it to be on the hard drive. So what we do is we go into mass here, which is going to be USB, And let's see, do I still have it in here? Nope. All right, so I know that I dropped it into the cheat folder. So there, and then we hit R1 to bring up our little menu here, and then we would copy, and then we want to go back to our hard drive right there. It's going to take a second to load it up because it's kind of reading everything that's on there. Alright, now you see down at the bottom we have this OPL folder. When you ran the OPL program, it should have created this folder for you automatically. So we go into that, and then you see all of our different folders. So cheat, that's where you're going to want to R1, and then paste, right? Make sure that's in there before we go. Now we're pretty much done. We should be ready to run it off our hard drive, assuming we've used winhiip to install it, and we put our cheat into the folder for OPL. We'll cycle our PlayStation 2 again. And then, come on, we'll go down to OPL. Takes a second to load up. There we go. So we've already turned our cheats on. So all we need to do is run Frontiers here. I don't know why it keeps cutting out like that. Well, so this is the first time that's happened to me, so I don't know what's going on there. So you will want to set up your network. I have it already set up, but I'll just show you the settings. The nice thing about running it on the PlayStation 2 is you don't need the extra disc to do it. It has that all built in, and we can use it just fine, unlike in PCSX2, which for whatever reason is really odd. So you would go to Add Setting. I'm going to go to Edit Setting. Alright, so you want to select your Ethernet adapter, required or not required. In my case, not required. Now here's where you want to go to Manual. And then these, well, these are like my personal settings. Yours might be a little bit different here. You have to find those from your own computer. And then you want to go to the DNS server, and this is the big one here. So we go to Manual. And then this is what, now you only have to do it in the primary. I was trying something out by putting it in the secondary also. But these are the settings you're going to want to put in for the DNS. This will direct us to our server. And then you just name your setting. X to be okay. We're not going to bother testing the connection now because I've already used it a bunch of times. Alright, so we're going to go back, and it's going to restart our disk, or well, our hard drive. So I personally have FreeMcBoot on a memory card in slot 2, and then I save all my game saves to a separate memory card in slot 1. Just because, especially for EQOA, it's a huge file and there's not enough room for it on the same memory card as FreeMcBoot. Alright, so we're going to hit play. And then we're going to hopefully watch it go through and connect to the server. You'll see it skips over the DNAS because we used the cheat. It'll skip over it real fast, just boom, boom. It'll do the same thing if you use a patch disk at that point. Alright, there goes that. That's done. Now here is where I have no problems connecting to the update server. See, we're good. When I'm hardwired to my router directly. But when I tried to do this downstairs from my Wi-Fi extender, I hardwired to the Wi-Fi extender. I don't know what happens, but I always get an error at the update. So I recommend, if at all possible, to avoid all possible errors, hardwire directly to your router. Ooh, don't look at my info, guys. And log in. And we are connected. Yo, you will have to make an account, as you saw back there. I just made a very basic one. They don't require you to put in your email address or anything like that, so it's not that big a deal. And there we go, Sandstorm. Let's jump into the game real quick. Alright, and there we are. In the last spot I logged out. Alright guys, so I hope this helped you out, and I hope to see you in game. Later.